Peace. It's an honor to have you take time out with Consciously Aware podcast, where thoughts breathe, truth speaks, and silence no longer hides in the shadows. This is more than conversation, it's awareness in motion, a journey through mind, spirit, and the unseen layers of life. Here we question, we feel, we rise. So open your mind, open your heart, and step into the space where conscious meets truth. Here's your host, ChillyMoe.
Welcome. We're here at Consciously Aware Podcast, and I'm your host, ChillyMoe. You know, we're in the atmosphere for a reason, so we can figure out where we're going in life, and that's the point of all our achievements. And today I'm sitting with a special individual by the name of DDH, and he's coming with some helpful jewels for any artist out there that needs any kind of motivation for their music. And see, me, ChillyMoe, I'm a fan of good music. So I'm just here for the enjoyment. So once you hover with us, enjoy this moment, and I'm going to let DDH take it.
Yeah. First of all, I want to tell you thank you for bringing me onto your platform. I'm honored for that. Anytime I can step on somebody's platform and give me the time, that's always an honor. So I appreciate you for that. Uh,
Likewise, brother.
well, I guess we're going to start off about who I am as the person. Yeah, that correct?
Yes, sir. This is a tell-all. Who is DDH?
Well, I'll start off from my roots. I'm originally I was born in Highland Park, and I've been in Ohio since I was about the age of 4. My father was from here. I do a lot of stuff. I started in the music business around the age of 16, and I used to. It's funny because I played sports, and I used to want to box. That's what I thought I would do. I played sports and stuff like that, and I ended up injuring my ankle. And at that time, I was like, I can't play on the level that I wanted to play at. So I started indulging in writing poetry and music. That always helped me a lot when I was going through things in life. You know, that took me to a different place. So I started doing that, and I was able to do a lot of stuff with that, meet a lot of people, gain a lot of connections to led me to be able to act. I manage artists now. I manage over 15 artists. I was able to be, co-host of things, Twisted Radio. I've co-owner of a television station. I've done a lot of things. I've also in the past mentored youth before. A lot of people don't know I'm ordained minister. I do a lot of stuff. And let me see here. Oh, I've worked behind the scenes a lot of music too, with media and a lot of that stuff too. So pretty much, I'm a person who has always had a vision since I've been a little kid, a boy, and wanting to be as much successful as I possibly can. And I've always just tried to work hard at it with just not limiting myself to one thing, but a whole bunch of things, if that makes any sense.
That makes a lot of sense. You speak about since you was a kid. Tell me some of your motivations.
Uh, I watched my father do a lot. He he was workaholic. Did like 30 some years all together with the city. He was auxiliary police and minister, military vet, from security all over. He just did everything. So growing up, I watched him do things, even though I didn't want to specifically be him. I wanted to be a hard worker and successful, just like he was. There wasn't nothing that you could tell him that he couldn't do. And I always that intrigued me. I'm like, man, that's how I want to do it. If I put my mind on something And even going out for the basketball team, I knew that there was a few dudes and guys on there that was a little faster than me, and had more wind than me. But I knew that I could make it. And I remember when they picked the 12, I was the eighth name, and I wasn't nervous because even though I just got higher and higher, I was watching people get discouraged as they 6, 7, 8. I knew it. Even I was like, even if I'm number 12, I'm making this. So there was always, I was just a person that as a kid growing up, I always believed in everything. Like it wasn't nothing. If I thought of it, I knew I was gonna do it.
You know, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever had a time in your life where you felt as if everything you was doing didn't add up?
Oh yeah, many a times. Not just with music, but life in general. Whether it was working hard to try to get a promotion at a job, or um, even sometimes being a father. There was times I would be like, man, I know I'm a good dad, but there's more that I can be doing. A son, a brother, uh, and everything that I did in life. There was a few times where that arose up.
Explain to the people how that shaped you into the person you is now.
Because when you go through a lot of things and your life gets altered with these thoughts or these emotions or feelings, and you feel like I just want to give it up or I just can't do it no more. I think that when you start to believe that you can do it and that you either got two choices to either give up and don't do it or put your big boy pants on and know that these tough times don't ever last forever. No matter what the outcome was going to be, something will always shift. The universe will always shift to the point where something will change and get better. That once you become that inner peace with yourself to know that I can overcome anything that life throws at me, it'll shape you into, for me personally, it shaped me into being a stronger person. It's because I take those times and all those situations that I had in my life where I didn't think that I could, do this no matter what it was. And when I think about it and be like, life is so tough, I'll be like, well, no, you had this and you overcame it. And so that's what helps me personally.
I think I'm gonna add this to the show. If you was a superhero, explain your superpowers and your weaknesses.
Um, my superpower would be to turn any emotion into happiness, no matter what, because I've always had the ability to make people laugh. That's one thing I'm good at. I'm always good at making somebody laugh, or um, yeah. So it would be to be able to let people laugh, or even just heal people from terminal illness, because l- losing someone to terminal illness is close, as close as like a mother. You like, man, if I could just lay hands on people and take that away from them. And then my weakness would be, when we tend to help people and we go a long way to help people, it sometimes damages us depending on how far you can go. So my weakness would be probably taking in too much of it, caring too much or giving too much to the point where I would be overwhelmed and it would start taking away from me. So even though I'll still be able to help heal those people in some way, eventually, there would have to be some type of boundaries, in order for it not to completely tear me down.
You know what? I believe that having that insight in life will always keep you pushing forward. So you'll never really have writer's block because you know exactly where you want to be in life. So let me ask you, mentors and in life, does it always have to be a person, or could it be a moment. And I only ask that because I believe you're a deep thinker because I heard Promised Land and the things you were saying was only in thought. A lot of people are afraid to say it. So I notice when you do write music, you speak from a eternal point of view. Because sometimes we feel our words don't matter, right?
Hmm.
So as an artist, I appreciate that. But the question I'm asking, do you feel as if you can get mentorship from almost anything?
Yeah, like you said, don't have to necessarily be a person. It can be life events, any events in life that you've overcame things or you've seen, or even watching. I mean, of course, and that goes back to people, but watching something that you've seen that you didn't think it would be preventable. Like, man, I thought that that was just going to be the rose ends. But yeah, I think that we can take events in our life and use that as mentorship. And it goes into every day as a learning experience, and the things that we encounter in life is always a learning experience. So yeah, it's definitely, I would just take the life events that can mentor you, be a mentorship.
Do you have something that you can share with the public that was a life event that altered your perspective in life?
Yeah, me not want to be here no more and want almost ended it. That was a deep experience to me because I had to realize everybody that I was going to affect if I didn't, if I wasn't here. Mainly my daughter and I know my father and family too, but it was allowing myself to not love myself and get tore down so much that I was thinking about everybody else and not thinking about me, my well being, my mental health. And that all goes back to that superpower thing that we talked about. So, and being a weakness. So, not being a superhero, that was my weakness. And it almost was the end of me. So, I take and look back now that is my life perfect in how I've envisioned it? No, not at all. And I don't think anybody's life ever gets there. We can only make it and work on getting it to where we want it to be at. But we always are going to have some type of work that we need to have done. So I think that me overcoming that situation in my life and seeing the things that I have accomplished and knowing that I can be better and knowing that I can accomplish more and knowing that I can love myself even more and knowing that I can be a better version of me if with just continuous work is enough mentorship and inspiration for me to keep going on a daily basis.
You know what? That was very interesting to know that you are a messiah, right? Let me ask you: do you incorporate that mindset into your artistry?
Absolutely. Because you always want to look into a, a a message that you can give to people, whether they listen to you in music, whether they listen to you in some and when you just speaking to them, it's always something. It's a message to everything. I've always been a firm believer that there is a always a message to everything. So I feel like even when I'm doing talking to people, even if it's a deep conversation or if it's just a minimum one, I take for instance my little brother when I encourage him. There's something I always want to tell him just so that he can take it as a message. And he's either going to take it in and let it sink in, or it's going to go in one ear out the other. But at the end of the day, as long as I know that I attempted to give that message and provide the message that I wanted to lay out for it to help, I know that I've done my job at the end of the day.
You know, for the people, we would love to know what that message is if you'd like to share it with us.
You mean just in any general life or
Yeah, I mean, the same message you would give your brother.
oh, basically, and not just say too much as telling his business, but he goes through hard times just like all of us would go through, and just feeling defeated at the most times. I like to provide my story a lot into helping to allow him to understand that it doesn't matter what we go through in life, that it's gonna get better. You just got to keep fighting. You always have to fight. You can fight good fights and fight when you're going through bad days until your depression is completely gone or until you fully gone. You always have to fight to get better and fight to get through the emotions. But when you give up, like, he may feel, the thing about when you don't fight no more is you lose. It's just no hands down, period. People fighting for their life. They quit and they give up, they lose. If from whether it be self defense or something. And I believe that the amount of fight that you have in you, you can overcome things. My mother was told that she has 6 months to live when she caught cancer. She said the devil is a lie. She made it 4.5 years after that. Now, if she had entered that fight and said, "Oh, okay," and just laid in bed and just said this is over with and became in this depressing state of mind, that fight might have been lost. So it's just, it's always the fight that's in you. And that's what I'll try to provide the message to my brother. You lose when you stop fighting.
If it's something you could say to your brother right now, if he was right in front of you, what would you say?
Um, I would probably tell him the same, like you're not going to make it through anything if you feel like you coming into this situation and failing. I always one of the things that I always used to like to say was, I feel like a person that you have the power over your mind. Whether it's not nothing to do with outside people or any events. That once you realize this, it's when you will know and you're strong and you'll find your strength. And that's what I would tell them. So
You know
I
that
always say this: it's never too late. It's never too late to be what you might have been, if that makes any sense. So, a lot of people think, man, I could done this or do this or do that. But it ain't never too late. If you think you can do it, you can do it. I just watched it and read the story of a 60-year-old man who wanted to play college football. He did it. He didn't play too many games, but he did it. So, it's never too late to think about or to be what you think you could have been. And that's what I would have told him because he struggles with that sometimes.
you know what your brother blessed to have you as a brother. Now I don't know about that 63-year-old college player. As a coach,
He
I'm
was sitting
like,
there.
look, touchy, but on the real honesty, DDH, who are you as a person outside of music?
Well, I'm just like others. I am a person who gets up and wants to be the best. I've sometimes failed at, but I don't stop trying. I'm strong minded. I get frustrated just like everybody, and I sometimes question stuff until I get back into the right headspace and knowing, okay, everything is gonna be okay. Uh, I'm a loving person. I'm a rational person. And I am a successor. I like to see that whatever. If my task in life, anything it is, you know, I just want to succeed. I'm a successor at anything, like whatever. So it could be even being a dad, Now I'm sit watch my daughter have a successful homecoming. That meant a lot to me, to be able to be there, to see her off to that. That's where I am. Father, husband, I'm whatever that example of what a fighting and trying good man would be. That's who I am.
You know what? The world will respect the efforts that you do for your family and yourself, your daughter, and even the efforts you put into this world. Now, if you can define awareness with one word, what would it be?
If I could define awareness with one word,
Yes.
knowledge.
Now explain.
Because you gotta have knowledge to be aware of something. If you don't have a knowledge at least of what you need to be aware of, then you just don't know. So say for instance you have to work on anger issues in life. You might think you get upset about something, get cussing like a storm or doing something like that, that's perfectly fine. You just think that's normal. If nobody can't accept it, then or whatever, then they have a problem, that's them. But you have to be aware that there are better ways, not just for behavioral wise, health, and a whole bunch of other things. You have to be aware that this ain't the best thing to do, and there's other calmer things to do, ways to handle things. But you have to have that knowledge to identify that you even have that, or that something needs to be worked on before you can be aware of anything.
I agree. And with knowledge, you got to illustrate it, because having knowledge is useless if you don't illustrate it. It's a good
Yeah,
point.
that's good.
So we're going to get into one of these songs you have here. If you want to cue it up, I believe you sent me two of them.
I'm not in front of the screen yet. Which one was it? I think it was For the Streets. Of that the one with Bizarre, and then we did Dare Little Dare, right?
Okay, and this is Conscious Exchange with DDH, and we're speaking about his album, More Than Music, Season 1. And he has a lot of dope material to listen to. And I have exclusively two dope tracks that I'm sure whoever tune in is gonna love. So this is Conscious Exchange with DDH, and I'm gonna do this on Sundays for any artists that want to tap in to Consciously Aware podcast on Wednesdays. And we're going to I want to listen to the track with Bizarre, if that's cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so here's Bizarre DDH. This is For the Streets.
Mathematic. Yeah. For all my dirty, grimy niggas. This is for the underground. This is for the hardcore. This is for the thugs. This is for the shooters. This is for the killers. This is for the drillers.
The game, fam, I came for it and I locked that. High pursuit, keep it with my speed, you can't clock that. Yeah, hot with them bars, being fire, I'ma give them hell. Worry about what? Damn, you funny, must be Dave Chappelle. Big D, this song call me Dave, where's Goliath? Rap God, hallelujah, I'm the Black Messiah. Yeah, TJ called me from the hole, got caught up in the brickyard. How you running out of gas now? Thought you make us fall. Concrete jungle, every step like a battlefield. Hungry like a lion when he hunting, looking for a meal. How many rappers biggest headache, they need a Cedrin. Sick of seeing me win, oh a bitch gon' take some medicine. You not Shaggy, this no mystery, quit all that meddling. Step up in the booth and light it up, Ohio Edison. City ain't support me, I ain't cry. You think I gave a fuck accomplishments alone to make you say I got some good luck?
This is for the underground, this is for the hardcore, this is for the thugs. This is for the shooters, this is for the killers, this is for the drillers. This is for the underground, this is for the hardcore, this is for the thugs. This is for the shooters, this is for the killers, this is for the drillers. I wake up in the morning, drunk and belligerent. An asshole, real inconsiderate. Grew up in a foster home with no dad. Piece of studio is all I had. I'ma get rich or die trying. For 50 cents, I'll sling the iron. In middle school, I was selling that crack. You try to run, get shot in the back. My cousin Corey, he finna blow. I got the right like it's finna snow. No talking, I just cock it aim. And you pump brake like a light for the shit, nigga, of course he pop. This is for the underground, this is for the hardcore, this is for the thugs. This is for the shooters, this is for the killers, this is for the drillers. This is for the underground, this is for the hardcore, this is for the thugs. This is for the shooters, this is for the killers, this is for the drillers. Suck my
Hey, ChillyMoe, can you still hear me?
Dear Dad, I want to grow up and be just like you. You were super strong, and people looked up to you.
At one time, I wanted to be like you, accomplish everything you did and have the confidence too. You was disciplined, but your discipline sometimes I would fear. And your message was felt, cause every word was a spear. Your self-talk became self-talk with me and yourself. It connected, causing both of us in need of some help. And the pain may build up quick, but it eventually fades. Though your shadow was long, I still outgrew all the shade. They say you can't erase the hurt that was carved in your heart. That's a paradox, turn drama into beautiful art. You see, this is my story, not yours to define. Dear Dad, I'm not the product of what you tried to design. Carry each lesson with pride and hold none with no shame. I'm proud of them within and bring strength with that name. This is my book of life, the truth is written on every single page. I see my own purpose and my elevation to age. This your blueprint of a legacy, left the mark of a man. I watched your every step but still chose to follow my plan. A reflection of you, you told me take it with pride. But mirrors only reflect what we see from outside. You planted good seeds, the bad ones they tried to expand. Your DNA is in my tree, but I grew from my own land. So here's to you, the very one who tried to show me the way. Taught me how to survive when the skies turn to gray. I honor your name, but I got dreams to pursue. I'm walking on my own, and these are my shoes. Tried to mimic your walk, but my soul couldn't breathe. You said you open doors, yeah, truthfully, I had my own keys. My self-taught, dear little Dan, keep your head high. Found out my own agreements don't make me less of a guy. Guess your wisdom was fire, remember fire will burn. Sometimes the greatest truths are the ones we unlearn. You said love's a gamble, and don't bet too much. I learned you win with your own thoughts, belief system, and trust. You said respect is earned when it's scratched with a firm hand. While I was a boy then, this is my goodbye letter to dear little Dan. Dynasty, dynasty, dynasty.
I don't know if you can hear me, but if you can't, I don't know if you wanted me to talk about the songs, but what I can do is I'll get into that real quick. So the song with Bizarre, shout out to Bizarre. You know, I know many people may have their own insight on what they may feel about a person or whatever, which that's either here or there. When I did that song, well, first of all, I want to shout out MJ England for making the beat. That's a dope producer, and I'm glad that I had a chance to work with him on a project. That man is a monster when it comes to doing tracks, when it comes to producing and making beats. So shout out to MJ England. And then, like I said, I listened to the song. I listened to the Bizarre verse, and the first thing I thought was, I'm going to give the song exactly what it needs. So I took it through the reach. This is for the streets. I've lived the street life before. I'm no longer in the streets, but I remember being in there, and I wanted to give the track a vivid image, through wordplay, so the listener can see this is what you're gonna go through when you're in the streets. This song is for the streets. If that's what you about, it is what it is. And I'm glad that I was able to do that, and it turned out real good. Dear Little Dan, that track was a track with it was about my father. Growing up, somebody I always looked up to. But you want to tend to say things to get off your chest that you can't. I was going through a difficult time when I wrote that song, with not even knowing if he was going to be here. And I wanted to do a song where I can let the listener know, these were always one of my words that I wanted to tell my father, that I probably felt like I couldn't or was afraid to when I was younger. And now I'm at that stage in my life where I can just get it all out and allow the energy that I have, and still being able to love him, but also letting them know how I feel. And they go, "Oh, I can hear you now. You back in?"
Yeah, I don't know what was going on, and I apologize to the audience and anyone that tuned in and who will watch this later.
Well,
expect things to happen throughout the show as we build into a plateau of where we want to go with this show. So I want to reiterate on my thoughts on both songs. I think they're both were crafted very well, and Little Dan was very, very intricate, if you know what I mean. It kind of touched a place in everybody's heart, because I believe we all had that feeling at one point, in our life. So I'm glad you channeled that emotion, because that emotion sits in everyone. At whatever age you was when you channeled that emotion, it was important.
Oh, yeah. And then for the listener that don't know, it's called Dear Little Dan because I was a junior and he was a senior. So, my nickname growing up, they always called me Lil Dan. So that's why I was Dear Little Dan.
Okay, nice. So let me give me this is for the streets. I take that as just a banger, right? You just giving that to the public, because everybody want that music we can ride to in the summer. And
Oh yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's what when I was giving a description. It was, like I said, regardless of some people they have their thoughts on Bizarre or not. I liked him. I grew up listening to D12, so to me being able to do a song with one of the members, I don't think it would have mattered who I was able to be. It could have been Swift. It could have been Kaniva. It could have been whoever. I would have been happy to. So being able to, and like I said, I shout out to MJ England because he was the one that made that beat. And if people don't know who he is definitely a dope beat maker. You gotta follow him. This dude always provides high quality beats. So he made the beat and I gave it for her. And it was basically my recollection of what the street life was because I was in the street life before. I've almost lost my life and stuff. So I just wanted to give the listener a vivid imagery when they was listening, like this how the streets is. And whatever, you got street people. I don't knock anybody for their lifestyle, whatever they feel works for them. So if you are in the streets and you listen to that, and it's like man, I feel this because I know, and so it always provides credibility and it's authentic when a artist can jump on the track and actually spit in something that they have experienced or done in a life they lived. I know they always say music is entertainment, but when you're able to provide a listener with something because you know firsthand from the experience, it allows the track to be pretty good. So
shout out to MJ England for blessing you with that beat. And shout out to
yeah.
DDH and all the artists that do put their heart and soul into their music and make sure us as the consumers get a polished, well put together product because we want our money to go to something valuable. So I appreciate that about you, sir.
Oh yeah, thank you.
You know what? We coming down to the last 3 minutes, and I told myself that I wanted to have a moment of silence for a person that I lost the last minute, but for the 2 minutes before the last minute, I want to ask you, DDH, the guest on Consciously Conscious Exchange. I want to ask you, what do you want out of life?
What do I want out of life? Um, the most out of it. Every single second. I've lost time from being incarcerated and stuff. So I want to have every single thing that will bring happiness and peace to me in my life. And it can be seeing my family happy, seeing myself healed completely, and being a great version of me, being a great father, being a great husband, being a great son, and being able to love people and dropping my ego and giving it everything that I could to be cemented in my legacy of being known as a good all around person who cared and did everything he could and succeeded in everything he can. Because I still got so many things that I feel like I'm going to succeed in. So I want everything that life is meant to bring me in the best possible way.
I'm gonna tell to the watchers and to everyone that's listening. What I learned today is that we never give up on ourselves, no matter if we go through something and no matter if we feel like it's not enough effort we putting in. Maybe we don't have enough money, right? Maybe we don't have a lot of access. Maybe we don't have a person we can go to. So I would like to tell everyone that listens DDH, you still with me?
Yep, I can hear you. You cut out there for a second. I can hear you now.
All right. You know what? Guess what's going on my end? And sorry to everyone again. People are calling me at the moment I told them not to call me. And I guess that comes with this line of work. Do not tell people when you're going online because they're going to call you. So, but hopefully this show was enough. And you know you can be a frequent guest. You know, I'm giving you the green light, sir.
Yeah. Like I said, I appreciate you allowing me to come on your platform. I enjoyed our conversation, and I definitely wouldn't mind to come back on again.
Okay, if you don't mind, just because I feel like we had that little mess up in the middle, I want to play that song for Bazaar and take us out. And you have a good night, sir. And thank you for everybody that tuned in to Conscious Exchange. Hopefully, y'all tune in to Consciously Aware Podcast on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. I am your host, ChillyMoe. My guest is DDH, the artist, the writer, the poet, the father, the everything, you know, the guy that never ends. Whoever knows him needs to support everything that comes from this man, because all he do is give us his heart and soul. And then he came to share this space in space. So I appreciate it. So
I appreciate you again, my brother.
You're welcome. Anybody you want to shout out before I play your song again?
Shout out my whole Twisted Radio, Twisted team family. Shout out to Henry Schultz. Shout out to Kimberly Vertigan, SGF Graham, Juice B, Jonathan Carter, everybody on the Twisted team. Gilly, Kendall Cobb, everybody. Shout out Brandy Johnson, Tyrone K. Johnson, 2026 NAMA Awards, and you know, and most of all, you know, again, shout out to you for starting the platform up, and I just want to wish you the very best of luck in it.
Well put. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's all my dirty, grimy niggas. This is for the underground, this is for the hardcore, this is for the thugs. This is for the shooters, this is for the killers, this is for the drillers.
The game, fam, I came for it and I locked that. High pursuit, keep up with my speed, you can't clock that. Yeah, hot with them bars, being fire, I'ma give them hell. Worry about what? Damn, you funny, must be Dave Chappelle. Big D, this time call me Dave, where's Goliath? Rap God, hallelujah, I'm the Black Messiah. Yeah, TJ called me from the hole, got caught up in the brickyard. How you running out of gas now? Thought you make a fall. Concrete jungle, every step like a battlefield. Hungry like a lion when he hunting, looking for a meal. How these rappers biggest headache, they need a Cedrin. Sick of seeing me win, oh a bitch gon' take some medicine. You not Shaggy, this no mystery, quit all that meddling. Step up in the booth and light it up, Ohio Edison. City ain't support me, I ain't cry. You think I gave a fuck accomplishments alone to make you say I got some good luck?
This is for the underground, this is for the hardcore, this is for the thugs. This is for the shooters, this is for the killers, this is for the drillers. This is for the underground, this is for the hardcore, this is for the thugs. This is for the shooters, this is for the killers, this is for the drillers. I wake up in the morning, drunk and belligerent. An asshole, real inconsiderate. Grew up in a foster home with no dad. Decent studio is all I had. I'ma get rich or die trying. For 50 cents, I sling the iron. In middle school, I was selling that crack. You try to run, get shot in the back. My cousin Corey, he finna blow. I got the white like it's finna snow. No talking, I just cock and aim. And you pump brakes like the light for the train. Weirdo, nigga, fuck your hero. I bring the heat like Robin De Niro. I'm getting high in a coffee shop. And if you talk shit, nigga, of course he pop. This is for the underground, this is for the hardcore, this is for the thugs. This is for the shooters, this is for the killers, this is for the drillers. This is for the underground, this is for the hardcore, this is for the thugs. This is for the shooters. This is for the killers. This is for the drillers.
Never let the struggle define what your purpose is. Keep in mind sharper than the swipe on the purchases. Pain made a king, now my throne where the burdens live. Call me selfish fam, cause I don't got some fuck to give. Surviving ain't luck, it's the art of decisions. Made a lane for myself, no regard for collisions. They said the game cold, but my heart was the blizzard. Standing tall like I carved out my whole vision. Now they game respect me like the Pope when he come through. Still keep a 40 case they front like the sun do. Money got dirty like them steps in the hallways. Tried to flip a brick to a crib with them long drapes. How the scene killers turn rap when the law plays. Now the judge handing out time like it's sweepstakes. Game full of snakes and your friends turn to cobras. And if the ripper call, keep a clip for the closure.
This is for the underground, this is for the hardcore, this is for the thugs. This is for the shooters, this is for the killers, this is for the drillers. This is for the underground, this is for the hardcore, this is for the thugs. This is for the shooters, this is for the killers, this is for the drillers. Suck my dick.
Until next time.
You've been listening to Consciously Aware Podcast with your host, ChillyMoe, where voices awaken and awareness takes root. Carry these words with you. Let them echo beyond this moment, because truth only lives when it is lived out loud. Until next time, stay awake, stay present, and always remain consciously aware.